are there in SDLC. The first stage we call it as analysis stage. In this analysis stage, business analyst team should understand the problem first. They should understand the problem analysis, right? So they should understand the problem first of the client. Not only the problem, they need to understand the situation analysis even, right? What was the situation analysis in terms of the business situation I'm talking about? What was the business situation which customer is at this point in time is what we must be knowing first. This is what we call it as situation analysis. So it's not only a problem analysis, but also situation analysis is also essentially required for any BA. Not only situation analysis, enterprise analysis even. Means what is the different stages of enterprises which do we have should also be known to you being a BA. So this is what generally the analysis phase stands for. Means when you want to develop the project, the very first thing is that you need to know the analysis of the business, analysis of the project, analysis of the requirements, what customer is having, right? This is what generally the phase of analysis stands for. So once the analysis is done, the next thing we call it as planning and design. In this planning and design, whatever the project you are going to develop, that project planning, right, architectural designing, everything has to be done by 3 different people, because planning and design involvement is of 3 different people. One is business analyst. Business analyst is completely focusing on the requirements, all that stuff. There will be a project manager. As you know, project manager is involving on project planning, execution, all that. At the same time, architects. There will be people whom we call it as architects. These architects' responsibility is to develop the solution architecture for the project. This is something similar like the blueprint, what we are required when you are constructing a building. When you are constructing a building, what is required? You need to have a blueprint. Agree, right? So without blueprint, you cannot construct the building. Even though you have experienced staff, experienced measuring staff, even though if you have enough financial resources, unless until if you don't have a blueprint of the building, you can't construct the building. The same way, it's not only a project planning, but how to develop the solution. That sort of architecture should be developed by the technical people. Usually the solution architects are the technical people. Develop solution architecture for the project. So project planning will be done by the project management team. Solution architecture and all, everything will be done by the solution architects. Even business analyst team and all, everything will be focused more on the requirements, what is that they are going to develop, all that stuff. So planning and design is the phase where project management team, business analyst team, followed by architect team will be involved in it. So that before they are going to develop the code for any of the project, how to develop the project, what kind of model do we require to use, how to use it, what are the different stages do we have, right? At the same time, doing the project planning part, providing some architectural designing, all that, everything will be done by the project management team, architect team, followed by the business analyst team in this planning and design phase. Followed by the planning and design phase, the next is implementation, where developers will write a code for the project. Means whatever the code we have, whatever the logic means functional requirements will be identified, right? Whatever the functional and non-functional requirements we have identified. So for that, someone should write the code. That's what generally done by the development team, right? So they have to design the user interface designings, developing code for the project. Everything will be done by this implementation team. Followed by implementation, the next is testing, where testing people will be involved here. Whatever the code was written by the development team, that has to be tested by the testing team by implementing tools, different tools using of it. Code will be tested by the testing team. This is what generally comes under testing is all about, right? Because whatever the functionality is developed by the developers in a form of code, that has to be tested by the testing team. This is all comes under testing part. Once the testing done, the next is deployment and delivery, where here we deploy the application. Whatever the delivery of the application and everything will be done by the team which comes under deployment and delivery. Means once the project is completed, we have to deploy at the client location in the client environment, and we have to see whether the project is working fine or not, right? That we have to see. If everything is working fine, then we will move further. Otherwise, we don't, right? This is what we call as deployment is. Because, for example, you have completed a project wherein you want to deliver it. Can you expect that customer will be taking your project directly? May or may not, right? Why? Because customers will be of different types. Customer will be of different traits. Customer may or may not be understand what exactly the work you have done so far. So that has to be deployed, and that have followed by the deployment, delivery has to be taken place by the team. So deployment is a mandatory thing, which is a part of software development life cycle. Once the development done, delivery will be taken place along with project documentation, all that. Delivery of the project will be done. Followed by this, if the project will go on air, project will be on live state. If there is any kind of maintenance to be taken care of, maintenance will be taken care of by the support team, which is an add-on here. So this is what generally the SDLC life cycle for any of the project. It starts with analysis. Being a business analyst, we'll be focusing more on analysis and planning and design. These are the two phases where being a business analyst, our role is so important and prominent. After that, at the stage of deployment and delivery, role of a business analyst is so prominent. So these are the three different areas where the role of a BA is more important. People who are new to IT, especially new to the business analysis, should know about the software development life cycle prior in advance. So then it is useful to them when they are moving on to the next level. Is it clear to you?
Yes.
Jay, right? So this is what SD, which being a new entrant, one must be knowing, right? So how the application, so this is this explanation, whatever I have given, this is irrespective of technology, irrespective of the domain. It is nothing to do with technology or domain, right?
Okay.
Either whatever the technology and domain, the stages of SDLC and all everything remain same and constant, right? Now we need to discuss